Hello and welcome back once again to After the Credits. Today we're talking about Happy Death Day. Now, when I first started seeing advertisements for this movie around work, I really didn't think it was going to do anything. I thought it was just going to be one of those cash-ins for the Halloween season that ends up not being scary, not being funny, not being good at all. And surprisingly, opening week, every theater was just about sold out for this film, and I was like, what is going on? What do people know that I don't? So, of course, I check out a couple minutes of the movie because I'm able to do that at work. And it seems interesting, but I don't know if it's interesting enough for me to go see or want to do a review on. But it's the only other thing that I haven't really watched yet, so I was like, what the hell, we'll give it a shot. So I went in and watched Happy Death Day, and I'm actually glad I did because it ended up being one of the films I enjoyed more this year than probably anything else so far. So what is Happy Death Day about? It's basically about a girl who's in a sorority at college. She wakes up in this guy's dorm and she doesn't really remember how she got there or anything. She's hungover from the night before. And she kind of does the walk of shame back to campus. And that night she's going to the pep rally and she ends up getting murdered, which results in her waking up back in the same guy's dorm room, and she thinks it was just a nightmare, so she's like, okay, whatever, I'm out of here, and turns out everything kind of happens again in the exact same way. So then the next time she's like, okay, well, I'm obviously not going to go down this pathway that I went down, because that's where I got stabbed last time, so let's go do this other thing, and the murderer catches her there and kills her. So it's like, regardless of which way she goes, she's destined to die. And each time she dies, she wakes up back in the guy's dorm room and kind of reliving the same day, so it kind of takes on a Groundhog Day experience. And they even do mention Bill Murray's Groundhog Day at one point in the movie, like, hey, your situation kind of reminds me of Groundhog Day, which they kind of say that she's never seen the movie and doesn't know what it is. And even that she's never heard of Bill Murray, which is a little odd because everyone's heard of Bill Murray. But basically then it kind of turns into a murder mystery of you have to find out who the murderer was, but the mystery is being solved by the person who keeps getting killed. And it just keeps playing out to where she dies repeatedly, different ways, but then she starts to realize that each time she comes back she's a little bit weaker. And at one point she ends up in the hospital and they do an x-ray, and she has like a lot of scar tissue throughout her body, which is completely healed over. You don't physically see it. There's no scars on her body, but the tissue inside is completely scarred like she had been stabbed repeatedly. And they're like, based on where some of these scar tissues are, you really shouldn't be alive. So with each new wake-up day, she finds out more and more information. She's able to piece together, like, what's going on. She tracks down who she thinks the killer is and sets a trap for the person. And she thinks she's finally out of this loop and she's going to wake up tomorrow and it'll be a new day. And she wakes up and she's back in the loop again. And she doesn't understand why, so she's freaking out. She's like, I stopped my death. I shouldn't have woken up back here. What is going on? And she finally realizes what's actually going on, which I'm not going to spoil for you because it is actually a very good twist in the movie, although it was kind of telegraphed and I saw it coming from the beginning that the person involved was involved. It was kind of obvious, but not super obvious to where it was unenjoyable because you knew it was going to happen. It was just kind of, this person's involved somehow, but I'm waiting to see when and how. So, what would I give this one as far as a star rating? Like I said, it was one of the more enjoyable movies of this year that I've seen, so I'm going to give this one a 4. I was actually considering going higher and actually doing a 4.5, but like I said, there were a little bit of telegraph parts in it, and the obvious referral back to Groundhog Day was a little too on the nose. So, it gets a 4. It's a solid film. I enjoyed it. Apparently, so did a lot of other people in the theater on the opening night. And I recommend it if you're into murder mysteries or just things like Groundhog Day where it's a repetitive cycle of things and you're like, what's different each time around? But it's also wrapped around a murder mystery. So if you like those types of shows like The Killing or Twin Peaks or whatever where there's a murder mystery going on and you gotta solve it, it's basically Twin Peaks or The Killing meets Groundhog Day. So if it sounds interesting to you, check it out. Like I said, I am giving this one a 4. It's one of the films I enjoyed more this year than probably anything else. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this one. So as always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share the video. Links are down in the description. Click the bell next to the subscribe button so you get notifications every time I post new content. And until next time, we'll see you after the credits.